Hello, Kieran. Thank you very much for coming here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we will be starting just when you are ready. Thank you very much for coming and welcome everybody.
Thank you, G. And just for our participants to know, we will have a conversation with Kier, and his presentation is about co-op at Memorial University. So I know that some of you are very interested in on this topic. So at the end of his session, we will have a Q&A, some minutes for Q&A, and you can leave us your question in the chat, or there is a Q&A option at the bottom of your screen. Thank you.
Okay, buenos tardes a todos, and good evening from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. My name is Kieran McIsaac, and I'm with Memorial University of Newfoundland. And as was just said, what I would like to focus on this evening is, first of all, a little bit about studying in Canada, about Memorial University, but the bulk of my presentation will really focus on co-op or cooperative education programs at Memorial. So we'll get into that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. But first of all, why might you consider studying in Canada? Certainly there's a lot of possible destinations for you as a student to further your studies. But why Canada in particular? And I'll highlight a few of those reasons for you. First of all, you'll find a consistently high level of quality. No matter which university you choose in Canada, you can be assured that you'll receive a very high quality of education, and you're making a great investment in your future. This is due in large part to the fact that we have almost exclusively public or government funded universities. That government funding is what holds us to account to make sure that we maintain our accreditations and maintain our quality. But it's also what allows us to offer affordable post-secondary education. So it's quite often less expensive to study in Canada than it is in other popular destinations. Canada is a multicultural society, a place that welcomes people from around the world to live, study, and work in our country. And as an international student, you're able to take advantage of the opportunity not only to further your studies, but really to begin your career in Canada, to begin your work life in Canada. And that starts from day one. You can work part-time up to 20 hours per week during your studies, full-time during study breaks, and you can take advantage of experiential learning opportunities such as co-op, which give you that opportunity for full-time paid work experience in your degree program. And when you graduate, you can also stay on in Canada for up to 3 more years with a postgraduate work permit. So lots of great reasons to choose Canada as a destination for your studies. Now, Memorial University of Newfoundland was founded in 1925 as a living memorial to soldiers who lost their lives in the First World War. And today, we're a university of just over 18,000 students across 5 campus locations. We have students from all around the world. Over 115 countries are represented, and our international student body is getting close to 20% of our total as well. So lots of great opportunities to meet people from around the world while you're studying at Memorial. We are also one of the most affordable universities in Canada. If you take a look at the cost of tuition, accommodations, a meal plan, all your fees, we estimate just under 24,000 Canadian dollars per year. Again, we're a public university, but also a well-funded public university. And that's what allows us to offer high quality programs, that government funding that we receive. When you apply for admission, you're also considered for an entrance scholarship of up to 12,000 Canadian dollars. And additional scholarship opportunities are there after your first year of study as well. Our location is the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. So it's Canada's easternmost province, right on the Atlantic Ocean, and the cities of St. John's and Corner Brook are where we have our campuses. We are a unique location in many different ways. We have some of the oldest European settlements in North America. And in fact, hundreds of years before Christopher Columbus even sailed across the Atlantic, the Vikings had already settled in the northern part of Newfoundland. And there are archaeological sites where you can visit those settlements. So if you're interested in a subject like archaeology, that's actually one of our co-op programs. We do have the option for co-op with archaeology. You'll also find that we have a fairly moderate climate. Now, we're still Canada, we're still a northern country, we still get a winter, but on the ocean, The winters are not as cold as they are in the center part of the country. So if you compare to Toronto, for instance, the winters are not as cold, but also the summers are not as hot. So it's less extreme temperatures that you'll see in our province. Our cities are relatively small, but with a small Canadian city, you'll find that it's very safe, welcoming, and friendly, which makes it a great place to study as well. The city of St. John's is the largest and capital city of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. It's a city of about 200,000 people, and it's one of the oldest cities in Canada. It's known for its history and culture. One of my favorite things about the city is the music scene. Any night of the week, you can go downtown and hear live music of all different kinds. There's festivals throughout the year, great nightlife, great restaurants, that sort of thing. But also within 20 minutes walk from downtown, you can be right on the Atlantic Ocean. In the springtime, you might see an iceberg float by. Icebergs break off from Greenland and float down past our city. It's a really beautiful sight to see. There's hiking trails all along the coastline and throughout the city. So it's great access to both a cosmopolitan city and a very beautiful natural environment. The St. John's campus is the largest campus of Memorial University with about 15,000 students. That's medium-sized compared to other Canadian university campuses. In the foreground of this picture, you'll see our student residences where you can live on campus. Almost all of the buildings on campus are connected through tunnels and pedways. So you can get from your dorm room to class, to the library, to the gym, to the dining hall, and back to your dorm room without even going outside if you don't want to, which is nice on a rainy day or during the winter, certainly. And there's a bus system that connects the campus to the rest of the city, so you can get around the city very easily as well. Now, the main focus of today's presentation is on co-op programs or cooperative education. So co-op is all about full-time paid work experience as part of your degree program. So you'll see a listing of the degree programs here that offer co-op options. We'll talk a little bit more about each of those in detail in just a few moments. But there's some key points to know about co-op. First of all, it's career-related work experience. So it's work experience that's in your field of study and actually counts towards your degree program. So there is that curricular component to it as well. It's full-time paid work. So you actually pause your studies for a semester, for instance, and go and work for an outside company or organization. So it is real work that you're doing. And so not only are you able to gain experience and earn money, but you're also able to make connections in your field or industry. You'll make, your coworkers, for instance, will tell you about future job openings. Your supervisors can serve as references. That networking opportunity is really important and can help you to establish yourself for working more in Canada after you graduate. Now, remember that I mentioned earlier, when you complete your degree, you can stay in Canada for up to 3 more years with a postgraduate work permit. So setting yourself up for that ability to work, a great foundation for that would be to do a co-op program. So in some cases, some of these co-op programs have mandatory co-op and some of them have a co-op option. In all cases, our co-op programs are competitive, so they are limited in the number of students that we enroll. So you need to apply for those programs specifically. The Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Engineering, and Bachelor of Human Kinetics and Recreation programs are available directly from high school for the co-op. The other arts and science majors, you can apply to the degree program, but you would apply to co-op once you're admitted to the major. So usually in your second year, you would apply to the co-op program. Now let's take a look at each of these programs individually. Just to give you a sense of what it looks like as a Bachelor of Commerce student. So the Bachelor of Commerce program, 5 years to complete. That would be academic terms where you're completing a number of courses. But starting in your 3rd year, you alternate between an academic term for the fall semester, a work term for the winter semester, and an academic term for the spring semester, and the reverse for the 4th year. So you get that opportunity to apply what you've been learning in the classroom to the workplace, and then vice versa, to apply what you've been learning in the workplace back to your academic work. And you finish off with 2 academic terms. You can see that there are optional concentrations, so you can specialize in a specific area in the Bachelor of Commerce program as well. So if you want to become an accountant, this would be a great way to not only gain experience, but gain experience with accounting firms. And that can really set you up well for a career in that field. But you can see there are a number of other options there as well. The second mandatory co-op program is the Bachelor of Engineering program. So it also is a 5-year program. It's structured a little bit differently than the Bachelor of Commerce. So in the first year, what we call Engineering 1, you have 3 semesters to complete your academic courses. But starting from year 2, you alternate between 4 months of study and 4 months of work. So you're really going back and forth between the classroom and the workplace. And the work that you do in your work terms in the Bachelor of Engineering program also counts towards your credential as a professional engineer. So when you graduate, it takes less time to become a professional engineer than it would if you had done a non-co-op program or a co-op program without this much opportunity to work. Engineering students are required to complete a minimum of 4 work terms, but there are actually 6 opportunities to do a work term, including 1 in the first year, if all of the academic requirements are completed in 2 semesters. You'll also see the different specializations we have in engineering: civil, computer, electrical, mechanical, ocean and naval architectural, and process engineering. And the third co-op program where co-op is mandatory is the Bachelor of Human Kinetics and Recreation program. So this program can be completed in 4 years. You see that you'll also have 3 work terms over the course of that. And with this program, you can specialize in community recreation, health promotion, kinesiology, or therapeutic recreation. So if you're interested in exercise, sport, recreation, there's a number of different options that might be of interest to you there. And then we also have the optional co-op options with some of our majors in the arts and sciences. Now, I mentioned earlier that archaeology is one of the co-op options. So archaeology, computer science, economics, political science, psychology, behavioral neuroscience, these are all options that are available for co-op, but you would apply to these co-ops normally in second year after you've been admitted to the major. For each of these, the work term structure varies, but it's normally 3 work terms and 12 months of full-time paid work experience. So a lot of great benefits to doing the co-op, certainly. And as I mentioned earlier, again, it's all about that full-time paid work experience. The networking opportunities that you have there are certainly very valuable as well. And it's something I would certainly highly recommend for students that are interested in staying in Canada to work after they graduate. Again, it's such a wonderful foundation for students to be able to transition from students to a full-time worker in Canada as well. Now, to find more information about Memorial University, I'd encourage you to engage with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, a number of other platforms. You can also explore our campuses through a virtual campus map on our website. You'll see the link listed there as well. When you're ready to apply, if you're in your senior year this year, for instance, the application deadline would be March 1st for most of our programs for fall admission. So if you're interested in starting in September 2021, for instance, the deadline would be March 1st, so a little more than a month from now. We're still accepting applications. If you're looking at a future year, then again, the same timeline would be there. You can start applying as of November for the following September admission, and the deadline would be March 1st. So I'll just leave you there with my contact information. You can feel free to contact me directly at the address provided, and our website is listed there as well if you wanted to explore for some more information.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think that we have some questions on the chat and Q&A section, so I will start by saying those. And the first one is from Sofia Chavez. She's asking, what advantages I have as an IB student?
That's a good question, Sophia, so thank you for that. So as an IB student, you actually can receive transfer credit for your higher level subjects. And so based on the grade that you receive in that particular course, we would offer transfer credit in that same subject area. And that allows you to, in some cases, complete your degree in less time, but at any rate, certainly take more advanced courses in those same subject areas. So we certainly do recognize the IB diploma. If you're looking for a non-competitive program at Memorial, if you meet the diploma requirements with a score of 24 or higher, you can be considered for general admission. If you're applying to a competitive program like engineering, for instance, I'd probably recommend a 5 or higher in your academic subjects like English, math, and your physics, chemistry, those subjects.
Thank you very much. We have another question from Carla Herrera. She's asking, hi, the cups are arranged by university and I just need to apply accordingly?
Sorry, I didn't quite get that. I'm just seeing if I can
See
bring
that?
up the chat here.
It's in the Q&A. She's asking if the cups are arranged by the university.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't hear that the first time. My apologies. We maintain relationships with a number of different companies in order to ensure that we have sufficient placements for students. So we don't provide you with a work term. You still need to apply to those companies, but we will help you with that process. We'll help you prepare your resume, work on interview skills, all that sort of thing. And then we also, like I said, maintain those relationships with different companies to ensure that we do have sufficient placements for students. But really, it is a real work experience in that you are applying for and interviewing for these positions. And so you do get that, that type of skill as a co-op student as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We have another question, and this time is from an anonymous attendee. So here she asks, for how long after my graduation I will be able to work in Canada?
So that's determined by the Government of Canada, and it has to do partly with the duration of study, the duration of your program in Canada. So the maximum for a postgraduate work permit currently is 3 years after you graduate. So if you were to do a bachelor's degree of 4 or 5 years, then you can qualify for a postgraduate work permit of up to 3 years. Yeah, so it's a great opportunity, and I'd highly recommend, like I said, you know, I think co-op, I didn't even talk too much about it, but part-time work opportunities are also great to help you get experience while you're in Canada, and you can work as a student, as I mentioned earlier. Those part-time opportunities are there in addition to co-op. And so co-op just happens to be directly related to your degree program, and that's a great advantage, of course, as well.
Thank you, Zane. Maybe students, algunos estudiantes, si nos quieren dejar algunas preguntas, pueden hacerlo en las sesiones, en la sección, perdón, Q&A, la de chat, and a few more questions. The first one is from Luciana. She's asking, hi, you have 2 campuses. Can I study in one and then at the other? I mean, I can study at both.
So yeah, you may have seen the presentation from my colleague Thomas at the Grenfell campus, and there's wonderful programs available on the Grenfell campus as well. The 2 campuses are about 600 kilometers apart, so it's not possible to study on both of them simultaneously. However, it is possible, for instance, to begin the first year of the Bachelor of Engineering program at the Grenfell campus in Corner Brook, and then go do the second year through to the 5th year of the engineering program in St. John's. So the campus that I represent, the St. John's campus, is the largest campus of Memorial, and it's the only one that has those co-op programs. But you can do, like I said, your first year of study perhaps at the Grenfell campus if you wanted that smaller campus environment.
Thank you very much. We have another question from Daniel Ramirez, who said he watched the previous presentation about fine arts, and he would like to ask about what kind of jobs or job could he get in a theater program, for example.
Sure. So the theater program is offered on our Grenfell campus in Corner Brook. And again, that's a smaller campus with a really intimate kind of experience for students. And it's a wonderful place to study. And as a theater student, you would have the opportunity to either specialize in acting or technical theater, and that was probably gone into in the presentation earlier today. Depending on that stream, I mean, you may look for acting work after you graduate if you follow the acting stream. There is some television production, some film production that happens here in this province in Newfoundland and Labrador. But you may also go to a place like Toronto, where there is a much larger, or Vancouver, where there's a much larger television and film production industry. And the nice thing about the postgraduate work permit is that it does allow you to work in other parts of Canada. So you're not required to stay in the same province where you did your studies. If you do the technical theater side, then that's sort of more the behind the scenes elements, your lighting, your set design, your costume design, you know, all that sort of thing. And so likewise, you may want to work within the industry here in the province, in other provinces of Canada. There is certainly, there is a relatively small theater scene that's here in St. John's, but Toronto would have a much bigger theater scene as well. So, you know, there certainly are opportunities here in this province, but some of our graduates will go on to other parts of Canada as well.
Thank you. We have another question. I think it's almost kind of like the same, because Luciana says she wants to study theater, so maybe that's a relationship with the question. And we have another from Carla. She says, can we work for the university too?
Yes, yeah. So I talked today about our co-op opportunities, and co-op is typically with an outside company, normally. But in some cases, there are opportunities for co-op students to work with the department of the university. So that is a possibility. It is also possible to do what we call an entrepreneurial work term. So if you have a business idea, we have a Center for Entrepreneurship that can help fund your business idea to help you start that. And so that can actually qualify as a work term, and we do have that funding available to help support you in starting your business. So that's a couple of opportunities. But aside from that, I also mentioned about the ability to work during your studies, you know, part-time, that sort of thing. And we do have on-campus jobs where you can work for the university. So right now I'm looking to hire a student to help with a research project for the registrar's office this semester. So there are certainly opportunities to work on campus during your studies, even outside of co-op.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. I don't know. Oh, we got another question right now, and it's from Sofia Chavez again. She's asking if in the programs of co-op that you have, with which I don't know, kind of companies do you work with, or do you have some names you can share with us?
Sure. Well, it depends on the degree program. And so, you know, if you look at the Bachelor of Commerce, there would certainly be a number of Canadian banks. So a Canadian bank that I believe operates in Mexico as well would be Scotiabank. And so that would be one where some of our work term students would work in the Bachelor of Commerce program. But what I would say as well is, you know, there's not really a limitation put on where you can work. If there's a company where you are interested in working, we can help support you in setting up a work term as well. So if there is somewhere, I'll give an example actually. A few years ago, one of our engineering students was really interested in working for the toy company called Fisher-Price. You may have heard of that company. So their headquarters, I believe, are in New York. And she made some calls and spoke to some people and got the work term vetted by our Faculty of Engineering. And she actually became the first Canadian work term student that they had at Fisher-Price. So if you are really interested in working for a specific company, we can help you work toward that goal and finding a placement there as well. So that's something that I encourage you to explore. But you'll also see each semester for the work terms, there'll be a whole listing of work term opportunities for students to apply for with different companies. Some of them you may not have heard of. There's a company that's based here in St. John's that does cybersecurity work for banks. And it was just recently purchased by NASDAQ for over $2 billion. So it may not be a household name, but it's a really big company that's here in St. John's, and a lot of our computer science students would do their work terms with this company called Verifin, it's called actually. So, I think if there's a certain company you want to work for, by all means, we can help support that. but there's also probably a good number of companies that you may not have heard of that also provide excellent opportunities for students as well.
Thank you very much. That's actually pretty perfect. Know that they can work towards other kind of dreams, not just the company might be listed in, I don't know, in a site. And I don't think we have any more questions right now. Nope, maybe it was pretty clear. Thank you very much for your participation again this time with us. And also, muchísimas gracias a todos los que nos han estado escuchando. Si tienen alguna duda, creo que todavía podemos tener unos minutitos más del tiempo de Mr. Mike McIsaac para que nos pueda contestar. Si no, pues les agradecemos mucho y esperamos se puedan quedar también para la sesión con Rafael Malagrino. Thank you. We have no more questions right now.
Thank you. Well, I just want to thank you all for joining us today, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I want to wish you the best of success with your studies, and I hope that someday in the near future I might see some of you on campus here in Canada.
That would be great.
Thank you so much, Kier, and we all hope that you have a wonderful 2021. Thank you so much for your help, support, information that you provided us with, not only today, but in the first edition of CHEM last year.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.